Episode 10, Hybrid Tank and Boss Fights. Hey guys, so on this episode, for the Order and Chaos segment, I'm going to be talking to two different hybrid tanks. The original hybrid tank that I was going to talk to over Skype couldn't show up, so instead I have these two chatting with me, and I just dictate for them. I'm also going to have a KP boss, and I'm going to speed that up, and I'm going to show my epic chest gear. After that, I'm going to be showing one of the bosses in Noswa's prison. You'll find out about that later. I'm also going to be showing a Batman boss fight and some Infinity Blade 2 gameplay. And finally, I'm going to be having some hardcore iPhone/iPad gaming news. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So I'm actually joined by Tavo and Alex DeLarge of my guild Vengeance, and they're just going to be talking to me about the different questions. I'm just going to dictate them for you. I know it's kind of disappointing, but hopefully this won't happen again, and in the coming episodes I'll actually have a real interview. So I'm just going to start talking about hybrid tank spec. So the first question I asked was, what are the skills that you recommend as a hybrid tank at level 60? And they said that Lacerate and Sonic Slash are important. Guardian Stance and Alerting Shout. Lacerate is important for duels and dungeons. Sonic Slash is important for duels. Alerting Shout and Courage are a must for dungeons, they say. And if you're a Guardian, you should get Shield Slap because it's very important, and you should fully upgrade Head Smash for that, and you should use the other points for talents like dodging or more DPS, they said. Okay, so the second question that I asked them in chat was, does the gear that you have work well with your skills? Tavo said that he's 5 out of 6 epics, and he also has the epic ring and some trinkets, and he said they work really well. And Alex said that Strong Defender is what he has, and if you're a hybrid, he recommends mixing up feet and gloves and the head and add Violent Killer parts to that, and parts of Strong Defender with the most armor value. Tavo says if you are 6 out of 6 epics, then you should put 2 epic DPS gears because the skill for the 6 out of 6 epics for Guardians is useless. So the third question I asked them was, is it harder to tank in dungeons being a hybrid? And Alex said that tank is easier because the armor is better. And Tavo said if the monk is good and you have thought your skills out for dodging, then it's easier. And if you're battle, then you should focus on parry and dodge because you want to try to get aggro from the bosses, but you don't want to get their hit hard. So it depends on the monk, but if you have the right amount of guardian gear, being a hybrid, then you should be fine in the dungeon. And it's a little harder, but sometimes it gets things done faster because you have the extra battle armor. And also Tavo said that on the dragon it might be hard, but you should save Alerting Shout for 2 cycles, and then use Guardian Stance for as many cycles as it goes, and then repeat. The fourth question I asked them was, why do you recommend being a hybrid over a full Guardian or a full Battle Warrior? Which one is better for leveling, and which one is better for dungeons or PvP? Tavo said that he would recommend going mainly guard if you're doing dungeons. Alex said that battle is better at PvP, mainly focusing on causing damage, not taking it. Guardian would be very important for the dungeon, he says. If you are trying to level up, you should go mainly Battle Warrior. I agree with that because when I was a Battle Warrior and leveling up, it was really easy and I leveled up pretty quick, a lot faster than for my monk. And they also said that you should reset your talent points later and reconsider your choice of skills at level 60. Hybrid has more DPS on bosses, so that's good. Faster boss kills equal more runs. So they'd recommend battle in dungeons. If you have a good monk, you should probably be a hybrid in dungeons. Guardian or battle are both good in PvP. So the final question that I asked them was, do you think warriors will get nerfed in the future or will get better? Alex said, I think the warrior is a very well thought out talent branch, and it balances the outnumber of ranges and shortage of mages and monks. And Tavo said that the skills they have right now are perfect for dungeons. So they think that warriors are fine how they are, even if they lose duels. In PvP for warriors, they said that they get killed by mages if they don't have guardian stance because of constant knockdowns. And DPS gear is good if you're going in a small group. Being a monk, I know how easy it is to beat warriors. If you're a good mage, ranger, or monk, you can beat any warrior right now. So warriors are good in dungeons because they can handle the bosses, but they really need to get more skills added to them. I want to thank Tavo and Alex Delarge from the guild Vengeance for coming on the show today. As I said, it's kind of lame that they had to chat it and I had to dictate it. They couldn't Skype when I was talking to them, and the original guy who I was going to Skype with couldn't come on. I told you guys about some of the really important hybrid tank skills and why they recommend that over just regular Guardian or Warrior. So it was informative, at least. In the coming weeks, instead of having me just dictate everything, I will actually have guest stars come on over Skype. So sorry if that disappointed any of you. In this clip, I sped it up, and I'm showing how to make the epic chest gear for monks, or for any class for that matter. And I bought the recipe for 120 souls, and then you just use 3 essence of Aristar, and you unequip your rune gear chest armor, and then you just press produce, and I show the stats for it. And the epic set bonus for monks is minus 20 seconds for the prayer, and then I just show that I have all 6 epics now, and also the crystal rain of salvation, which is from Aristar's temple. So that's how you make the chest gear, and I hope you guys can make yours as soon as you can. I've been thinking about a few of the different segments on this show, and how in a few months people could watch this for the first time, and they may not be active gamers of the games I talk about. They may want to have some gameplay on these games or find out more about it. For example, in Ordering Chaos, if there was a new level 60 and he wanted to know how to tank in the dungeons, I could show gameplay of that. So today I'm going to be showing gameplay of Cosmo, and this is all from a monk's point of view. And next week and in the coming weeks, I'm going to be showing other Ordering Chaos bosses that I defeat with my teams in legendary mode, and I'm going to be trying to show more of the stuff that new level 60s might not know about. And this goes for other games I talk about on the show as well, like Modern Combat 3. I could show different guns that I use and different maps, which I'm going to be doing, and any of the other games I talk about basically go along with this, so I'll try to keep to that promise. So to keep to the promise of showing new 60s, the different bosses and strategies, I actually got a team together and we faced Cosmo, and basically the mage just clears all the first mobs up to the first boss, I think, and you need an experienced mage to do that. And then the ranger goes and pulls the boss and quits the team using the wall glitch. And then I just invite him back to the team. And we have to wait here until Cosmo shows up. So Cosmo does AoE damage in his human form. You're about to see that. And when he appears, you see he did that AoE damage with the fireballs. And right here as a monk, I just use Rain of Healing constantly, and I have to do that until he gets to his demon form. And I also use Prayer of Pure Faith, and since I have the epic chest now, that decreased by 20 seconds, so it's a lot easier. Now you see that he's in his demon form, and Rain of Healing is the best thing here. You don't really need to do Prayer of Pure Faith until he becomes human again. And there's also a puppet that appears. You have to try to kill the puppet. Usually the ranger snipes him, and if you don't snipe him in time, Cosmo will actually take the puppet's health, and he gets almost full health again. So you have to make sure that you kill that puppet before he stops doing the AoE damage, because when he stops, then he takes the health. After a while, and you constantly use Rain of Healing and Rapid Healing on the tank, Cosmo turns back to his human form and he does the AoE damage again. So you can just use Rain of Healing and Prayer of Pure Faith, and you just have to try to get him down as fast as you can. And then he will drop loot, and he usually drops crappy items, but sometimes he drops Essence of Death, which is required for the epic shoulders and the epic legs, and he drops an Essence of Soulstone here and some crap cloak, but that's how you do Cosmo. So in the last 2 weeks, I managed to get better at Batman Arkham City Lockdown, and I finally beat Two-Face. So I got to this new area, and it's the sewers, the Gotham sewers, I guess, and it's not really the same setup. There's a new environment, of course, and there's new bosses. The threat level is higher, so I ended up upgrading some of the gear, I guess I'll call it, because I'm used to ordering Chaos Talk. I upgraded some of that stuff, and I used the 1970s Batman costume, and my speed is actually increased a lot, so I'm able to do really fast combos. And as you can see here, I'm facing this enemy. I'm able to dodge him, and when I attack, I do really good combos. I really am liking this game now that I'm able to actually play it without sucking, and I think it's because of the new suits. So I'm probably going to buy a few of these suits because they're really good. Even though they're in-app purchases, I still want to buy them. So here in the sewers, I'm facing another guy, and he has a baseball bat just like in the other thing. And it's the same thing. They have those really hard damages that you always have to dodge, can't deflect. These enemies are actually a lot easier to me. It may be because I got better at this game, because I upgraded some of the gear, and I'm like level 7 now. The threat level is harder, but once you get the hang of the game, it's actually a lot easier. And you can see that I don't know if you can see my health, but my health is actually not that low. And right here, we have like a little foreshadow thing, because there's this huge boss. This is a really cool aspect of the game. He's actually gonna chase you down, and you have to use different swipe movements. So I'm really happy that Warner Brothers thought of this, and they thought of different ways to implement the touch controls. And as you can see, you have to swipe left to right to dodge his huge attacks. And there's also a swipe down thing. You have to dodge his attacks that go like right in front of you. I missed that one, but it's really cool, and you're running away from him. You can't attack him, you basically just have to dodge at this point. And I really like how they added this part of the game. It's really cool, and I like how they implemented it. I'm kind of failing right now, and my health is pretty low, but this boss isn't that hard. You just have to try to dodge his attacks, and then he appears and he blasts through the wall, and you have to try to do the same thing. Basically, you just dodge his attacks left to right, up and down, and if you mess up, you're on low health. Like, I'm on low health right now. So most of the time, you'll be dodging here, but when it gives you the third swipe, because it's in swipes of 3, so it's not that hard, you just have to try to figure out which one it is in time before he hits you. And then you can just attack him and do combos. This fight lasted a lot longer than the Two-Face one did, so I like that Warner Brothers actually thought of the idea of implementing touch controls and making us have to think of different strategies. I mean, it's not too challenging, but I really appreciate what they did here. It's basically the same thing this whole entire battle. You have to swipe left and right to dodge his attacks. And there's 2 segments of this battle where you're running away, and where you're just standing there with him trying to dodge and hit him when he's down. You just finish him off pretty much. Probably going to finish him off in a second. And his attacks hit your health really hard, so you really have to try to attempt to dodging them. Finally, I get a final combo and I finish him off. You can see the cutscene here. He fell down and I got 1000 XP and an achievement. The monster tries to grab at him with his last life and he dies. So mission accomplished. Next week I'll be showing more gameplay of this. I'm not sure when, maybe episode 14 I'll show the next boss. But that's all the Batman Arkham City Lockdown content I have for you guys today, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I recommend that you buy this game. It's $5.99 in the App Store and it's universal, so enjoy. So I'm finally going to show an Infinity Blade 2 boss fight, and I know that I've been breaking a lot of promises with Infinity Blade. This is like the first gameplay I've showed of it on this show. And I haven't really progressed that far, but that's because all of my data is on the iPod Touch. I basically just have to start over on the iPad, so it's kind of good this way because I can show you where to start in this game, what the first boss is like, and in future episodes I'll show you the other bosses. So this is the kind of introduction for the first boss here, and it's on top of a tower, as you can see. And in this game there's different money bags that you can see, and you can pick them up to get money, which you can use for gear and upgrades and stuff like that. And he may be a little challenging, but I think I'll be able to do it since I've done it before, so let's just see. And there's definitely a lot of dodging and parrying in this game, and right here you have to tap to try to get free of him. It looks like I can beat him because his health goes down pretty low. I just did a few combos there. I just did the super attack because that'll finish him off quicker. So you just tap these little blue dots and then it automatically attacks him. Then right after that you get a little time to do a few hits, usually a combo. It's hard for me to do upwards combos. I usually do left to right combos. So. And I'm using dual wield weapons right now, so parrying is good to do. And it looks like I'm going to finish him off here. Yep, I'm getting combos and a finishing bonus. Victory. Mainly the two things you need are health and attack. We can also add magic, but when you first start you probably going to want to work on attack more. Basically he just dies here and he thinks that he's going to get to work his secrets. But this is how they implemented the starting over system, like they did in Infinity Blade, where you had to go to the start of the castle and you both just die right there. And then there's going to be Rebirth 1, and that's when you start over the castle again, but you don't have to face him. And this is showing him as a human, and he's alive, and they haven't really explained that in the story. I still don't really understand it. So you basically just start over, but you have to face the different bosses, and the goal of this whole game is to get a higher level and to get better gear so that you can face the harder bosses and beat them and complete the storyline. So that's all my Infinity Blade gameplay for today. In the coming weeks I'll be showing more of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just showed some Infinity Blade gameplay, and I know in the future I'm gonna progress more and show you guys better gameplay, but I wanted to talk about a little bit of Infinity Blade news. Apparently it actually got $30 million in total revenue from both games. I found this out on the Facebook page from Brian of Massively Portable. Anyways, he posted an article about how the whole Infinity Blade series has gotten $30 million in revenue. And I really hope that with that money, they will fund better updates and maybe better Infinity Blade games later. And I hope that other companies that aren't developing iPad games actually look at how much revenue this is, because that's quite a lot for an iPad game. And I really hope they see the revenue opportunity in hardcore mobile games. I just hope that Infinity Blade games get better. So now I'm going to talk about a game that I put many weekends into and had a ton of fun on for my iPod Touch. Some of you may have played it or heard of it, and it used to be a computer game, but just last May, I think, they added it to the iPad and iPhone. And this game is World of Goo. It's a game that I never thought that I would put on the show until now. I finished it on my iPod. Apparently it got 1 million downloads on the App Store. So maybe in a few weeks I'll show my progression of it on the iPad. I think I'm going to show this on the iPad on the show. It's going to take me a few weeks to actually get anywhere in the game to show you guys good gameplay. A little over a week ago, I held a little poll on the Ordering Chaos forums, and I called it a caucus in parody of the Iowa caucuses for the Republicans. We had 60 total voters, and the question that I asked was, what do you want most in 2012 for Ordering Chaos? And the different choices were Battlegrounds, Legendary Dungeons, New Area and level cap to 70+, in-game moderation and bug fixes and balanced classes, PvP arenas, and an Android iOS server merge. So the category that got the least amount was the Android iOS server merge, and I guess that's not really a priority for people right now. Also, Legendary Dungeons and the New Area and level cap to 70+ both got only 12 votes. So this is an indication from us to Gameloft that we don't want the same old content with new areas or new dungeons, because we've had enough of that. 20 people voted on in-game moderation or bug fixes and balanced classes. I made that all one category. And yes, that's definitely a priority right now. Gameloft should try to fix the problems they have now before they try to add new content. This shows that a lot of people agree with that. And then in first and second place, we got PvP arenas with 22 votes and Battlegrounds with 23 votes. So it's pretty obvious that people want some sort of PvP type thing. A lot of people want PvP with an objective, which is basically Battlegrounds, and that would be a lot better than PvP arenas, because PvP arenas is basically like Vegas Squares now, but it would just be a dedicated PvP arena. So I think Battlegrounds would be a lot better for the future. So I'm hoping that this poll showed Gameloft what people want in the game, and that maybe they can convince the developers to try to implement these things first. But I mean, it is Gameloft, and they don't usually listen to us. They have their own plan for everything. So this was just an attempt of mine to try to get Gameloft to listen. But at least we know what the community wants, even if Gameloft doesn't change anything. Finally, we're having some more Minecraft Pocket Edition news. And this is really good news. It actually came from the Mojang official blog. So I guess they are finally listening to the community, and they're going to be adding the computer features to Minecraft Pocket Edition, which I've really been hoping for. And it says that they're going to be releasing an update by February the 8th on Android and iOS. It said that crafting won't be in the next update because they have to redesign the GUI. We'll finally see animals and new blocks, so maybe creepers. And they also said that they'll be done with survival mode soon, and probably online multiplayer. So that's awesome. I'm really proud of Mojang for doing this for us, and they must see that there is some revenue in making a Minecraft Pocket Edition version. And we all paid $7 for this game, which just had creative mode. So now that they're actually adding stuff to it for free, that's really awesome. And I can't wait to play this game and show you guys the update. For now, that's all the Minecraft news I have for you. Okay, now I want to talk about different online games and offline games, and why I think online games are better. First of all, games like Ordering Chaos and Modern Combat 3 are online, so I can play it on any device because I have an account on both of them. So all of my data that I play on my iPod will show up on my iPad as well because there's an account for it. So that's why it's hard for me to show progression in other games like Minecraft, Batman, Infinity Blade, especially Infinity Blade, because I beat the game on my iPod, and I'm trying to show gameplay of it to you guys on my iPad, but I basically have to start over because there's no account for that. So I'm hoping that Apple adds in a new feature to Game Center. We can actually save your game data between devices, and that would save a lot of people a lot of trouble. We really need to be able to switch between both of our devices, so they need to add in a save feature, I think, or at least an account feature that you can save between devices. And if they don't, then I'm just gonna have to start over all my games on the iPad because it looks better on the iPad, as I've said before. Another option is that the developers of these games could go along and make their own save feature instead of relying on Apple. If Apple made it a universal thing for all the apps, it would make it a lot easier. For the time being, I'm just gonna have to restart Infinity Blade on the iPad, which I've already done, but it'd be really nice if they implemented that feature. Okay, so I haven't had a question of the day in a few weeks, but I saw this game on the web and it looks really interesting. You can look at the YouTube video for it. It's called Combat Arms Zombies. I believe this used to be a console game, I'm not sure, but it's an FPS and it has really nice graphics. I haven't seen much of the gameplay, but I'm considering buying it. It's $4.99 in the App Store, so if you have the game or are planning to get it, my question of the day is, should I get Combat Arms Zombies? And I may be reviewing this in the coming weeks, who knows. So that's it for episode 10. Next episode, I will be having an interview with an assassin, and he'll talk to me about his spec, just like the interview last time. And it's going to be Headshot BTCH again. I'm also going to be having a guest star come on and talk to me about the Shadow Prince, and we're going to be showing gameplay of that. Also, I'm going to be showing more Grand Theft Auto 3 gameplay with missions, more Infinity Blade 2, and some other things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I'm glad that we made it to 10 episodes over the past month, which is awesome. So I'll see you guys next week.